What is going on, guys? Taylor Stuber with Sharp Sports Network, bringing my favorite plays of this Week 4 NFL slate. Pretty straightforward to me. I've dove into it quite a bit over the last couple of days. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. And before we go any further, just letting you guys know for today and tomorrow, the last days of this promotion, NFL Season Pass will only be $50. And with that purchase, you will receive a free t-shirt that Joe Beer, one of the co-founders of this company, made. I really like the new SSN logo one and the Odell Beckham one. So all you got to do is go over here, purchase it, add one of the shirts that you want. Make sure to select the correct size, because I know a lot of you guys were just auto selecting small, but make sure to change the size. Add a cart, buy it with PayPal, buy it with your card on Stripe, whatever you decide to do. And then make sure to follow me over on Twitter at Taylor Stuber. Going to be giving out some of my favorite plays of the day, some stats every single day. And then today at 7 p.m. Central Time, or on Saturday, at least if you're watching this on Saturday, I will be streaming over here on Twitch. So if you follow us over here at Sharp Sports Network, links are going to be in the description. We will be answering some questions for you guys, and then tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I will be going public on Twitch again just to answer some questions, and then I will be streaming for my members from 11 up until lock. But anyways, let's just get into this slate. I think it's really exciting. One of my favorite players on this slate on both sides is Marquise Brown. Only 5.7K on FanDuel, which is just some of the most abysmal pricing I've seen. And actually, I missed that going through my first look through, because he should not be down here. Baltimore over here, if you go to FantasyLabs.com, they're projected for 26 points against the Cleveland Browns, who just seem to be in total disarray right now. And the Ravens have been good. Lamar Jackson's clearly a better passer than he has been in the past year. And Marquise Brown, I played a ton of him last week, and it was super frustrating to watch because his air yards were just through the roof. I knew when I was watching it that he was going to have an absurd amount of air yards, and then I looked this week, and he did. He's fourth in the league in air yards, I believe. Actually, let's look at that. In terms of air yards, he is third in the league. We'll talk about the guy, Devontae Parker, who's a fourth a bit later, but Marquise Brown, 466 air yards, 27 targets, has a 25% target share of the Ravens offense. Obviously, they're a run-first offense, so that's not saying the most, but when he's getting that many air yards and his ADOT is at 17.3, it's something I want to get, especially in GPPs. But for FanDuel's sake, I think it's fine to go with him at 5.7K because he's so cheap. I prefer him to a guy like Christian Kirk, who I love this week at 5.9K. I love anybody in Cardinals games on both sides just because of the pace. And then over on DraftKings, Marquise Brown is... what is he? He's 5.8K. I think it's more of a tournament play because I would rather pay down a bit more for a guy like Christian Kirk, who I just talked about, or even Kenny Galladay. I would prefer to him. So strictly a GPP play over here on DraftKings. And so that's where I'm going with wide receiver, one of my favorite plays. Somebody I think is going to be extremely chalk this week, and I was really off of it at the beginning. Wouldn't play him on FanDuel at all, but over on DraftKings, it's hard for me not to play him in cash. It's between him and Evan Ingram, but it's Will Dissly. Over the last couple of weeks, he's gotten 5 and 7 targets, obviously super efficient with Russell Wilson being the quarterback. And I was going to be off of it solely based off of him only playing about 50% of the snaps. We go over here to the Seattle Seahawks snap rate. Will Dissly's played 51%, 59%, 55%, barely playing the passing down to being mostly a blocker. But now that they traded away Nick Vannett to the Steelers, and he was playing 20. If you give these 26 snaps to Will Dissly, it's hard for me not to play him. at 3.6K against the Cardinals. Everybody, it's really overblown how bad the Cardinals are against tight ends this year through 3 games. Allowing 31.3 fantasy points per minute on DraftKings. At 3.6K, I think I would rather just eat the chalk than see him being 60-70% owned and getting into the end zone on 4 catches. The only worry is that they completely run this game. And we know that the Seahawks would prefer to run the ball rather than pass if they didn't have to, and they are, I believe, 7-point favorites. But like I said earlier, Russell Wilson, hyper efficient. And so he doesn't need that many passes to get his pass catchers going. And obviously Tyler Lockett's going to be one of the more popular plays on the slate, as well as Russell Wilson, who I think in cash games you kind of have to play someone between Russell Wilson and Daniel Jones for a bit cheaper. The Seahawks are currently projected for 26.5 points. It rose a point since open. So yeah, Will Dissly I think is fine on DraftKings. It's kind of hard to eat that chalk, but I think I'm going to end up doing it because he's 2.1K cheaper than Evan Ingram, even though Ingram is just leaps and bounds a better player than him. But on FanDuel, at least I think I'm going to go up to Evan Ingram just because you don't get that PPR points, so the scoring is going to be a bit more drastic for big play receivers like Evan Ingram compared to Will Dissly, who's I should have looked this up, but I bet his 40 time is over 5 seconds. Not the best athlete. Another player I wanted to talk about was Wayne Gallman. Another super chalky player. Kind of torn on if I want to play him, just especially on DraftKings when Kerryon Johnson is so close in price. And I think that while Kerryon will only probably play about 75% of the snaps compared to Wayne Gallman's probable 95, at least 90% of the snaps I think he's going to play. I think a lot of people are worrying about how involved he's going to be in the passing game just because I believe he only got 1 target last week. I'm going to look over here. He got 0 targets, only 1 target the week before, but obviously Barkley was healthy during that game. But you look at his rookie year, he was the 3rd down back and he received 50 plus targets. So he's very capable of passing the ball and they're very willing to pass him the ball. The Giants, one of the few teams in the league that like to pass to their running back, but obviously a lot of that has to do with their running back being Saquon Barkley, wanting to get him the ball a lot, but they are projected for 26 points. Their line's not the best, but they're playing a Redskins defense that's just awful right now. Their team total rose from 24.5 to 26, 1.5 points. That's a pretty big jump. And yeah, like I said, they're going to be a 3-point lead. They're going to be leaning on Wayne Gallman. 4.6K. It's hard for me not to get him in on DraftKings, but if you weren't wanting to get him in, I think a guy that a bit cheaper other than Kerryon Johnson is going to be Devontae Freeman. Ito Smith is out with a concussion. We go over here to the snap shares of the and this is mostly for GPP, I will say this, for the Devontae Freeman play. His snaps have slowly been rising 50%, 62%, 90%. Has 4 targets in each of his first 3 games. They are projected to win against this Tennessee team. I think they have like a Manning lead most of the time. The spread has dropped from 5 to 3.5. But I'm not really concerned about that. I think the Falcons at home, with the Titans struggling to score points. We saw it in that nighttime game about how bad they are. I think Devontae Freeman at home with a lead, only 5,000, should be playing 90+% of the snaps with Ito Smith out with a concussion. I think at GPPs, he's an amazing pivot off of a guy like Wayne Gallman. So going to want to get him in, especially on DraftKings, where he does get 4 targets a game. So if he's adding 2 or 3 catches, that's huge. Getting the goal line work. We'll be playing with the lead at home. I just got to reiterate myself. It's a good spot for Devontae Freeman. Only 6.2K over here on FanDuel. And I think he's a significantly better play than Wayne Gallman for $400 more. Wayne Gallman not nearly as much of a must play over here as he is on DraftKings. So I like going to him. So those are really some of the plays that I like going to. I'm going to be discussing more of it. I don't want to give away all my plays here just because I want to keep those for my members. And then I want to keep the discussion going on the Twitch chat today and then tomorrow. So if you are interested in asking me some questions, we're starting off the stream small. We're only getting like 50 viewers per stream right now. So literally every question that you guys ask, I will be answering. And I appreciate you guys subscribing. I know we just hit over 100 subscribers just this morning. That's really exciting, just because we started this a couple days ago. I really appreciate the guys that are following me from my previous company. And I'm very excited because with the NBA Pass this year, we are including NBA preseason. That is only 6 days away. Have been very profitable in the past couple of years doing that. So yeah, if you guys are interested in joining the team, hit me up on Twitter. Go to sharpsportsnetwork.com. Just let me know if you have any questions. Yeah, so good luck this week. Hope you guys are very, very profitable. And until next time, peace.